I'm Wal Galbraith. I'm a part of the Ray White South Coast Group, and this is your South Coast Snapshot for Week 3, 2023. The Snapshot is designed to give you a bite-sized breakdown of the real estate market overall, including local, regional and city-based information across Australia. Now, all information is sourced from the AFR, leading economists on Twitter, and the Sydney Morning Herald. All information is relevant to buyers, property owners, or both. So, welcome back and Happy New Year. All the best for 2023 moving ahead. Let's jump into the latest, okay? So, soaring interest rates have halved the pace of home loan growth in just 6 months as the Reserve Bank's war on inflation pulled the rug from under the country's once booming housing market. Owner-occupier home loans rose just 0.4% in November in seasonally adjusted terms, half the 0.8% monthly gain they posted in June, RBA figures published on Friday showed. With housing prices expected to double the 8% plus declines they have already seen to date, the market is headed for its steepest downturn since the early 1980s, offering a reset in prices that creates opportunities for buyers who have the cash if they are willing to accommodate further price falls. Friday's figures also showed a similar slowdown in borrowing by investors with a 0.2% monthly increase that was also half the rate of growth it showed in June. The downturn in the global housing market is set to continue in 2023, with most Australian cities expected to fall by double digits in what is shaping up to be the deepest property correction in more than 30 years. Few people are willing to buy or sell in a falling market, and stock is hard to find. But some investors are betting there is money to be made from buying property now rather than waiting for the nadir in the third quarter of 2023. Leading economists expect just 2 more interest rate rises in the Reserve Bank's most aggressive monetary tightening cycle in 30 years before it pauses to assess the fixed lending cliff that awaits borrowers. The Australian Financial Review survey of 34 economists put the first post-pandemic era rate cut in play by March 2024, according to the median forecaster. Almost a third of respondents predicted it could happen this year. Net overseas migration will return to pre-pandemic levels this financial year after turning negative for the first time since World War II, in a shift that will leave the population almost 500,000 people smaller than expected. About 85,000 more people left Australia than arrived in 2020-2021, with strict border rules stymieing migrant inflows. The result reversed in 21-22 and is expected to recover fully by 235,000 net arrivals this year. But the toll from pandemic border closures will shrink the population by 473,000 by 25-26, according to the Albanese government's population statement of 23, slated for release this Friday. The shortfall is a key cause of the current skills and labour shortages, which Treasurer Jim Chalmers said was holding businesses and the economy back. Economists at 3 of the nation's 4 major banks failed to read the tea leaves when they predicted a year ago that house prices would keep rising in 2022, albeit at a far more pedestrian pace. That the pace of growth would sharply reduce was never really in doubt, after house prices rose a whopping 22% in 2021 off the back of record low mortgage rates, but the idea that house prices would suffer their biggest fall in 22 since the GFC was not a scenario the nation's most highly paid economists seriously contemplated. End-of-year figures released on Tuesday by CoreLogic's National Home Value Index showed that national dwelling values fell 5.3% in 2022, and 8% from their April high, with the combined capital cities sinking even further, down 6.9% and 8.6% from their high point. The number of unsold homes is piling up in a slowing national residential market, with properties on sale for more than 6 months jumping 14.3% last year, the biggest yearly rise since 2011. The gain in unsold older properties was the biggest since the 33% surge over the year to November 2011 and marked a meaningful increase in the downturn triggered by 8 consecutive increases in the benchmark lending rate since May, consultancy SQM research said. The stale stock is really starting to build up now. SQA Managing Director Lewis Christopher told the Australian Financial Review on Wednesday. It's becoming more entrenched, and it signifies that there are many sellers out there who have not been able to meet the market. The market was only likely to see listing numbers increase as a result of distressed or forced sales if the cash rate rose to 4%, Mr. Christopher said. There were 6,201 listings of properties selling under distressed conditions as of Wednesday, down from 6,549 recorded in November and well down on the pre-COVID number of about 13,000 homes. Distressed listings activity, while up for the year, still remains at relatively benign levels, and indeed stabilised over the December quarter, he said. Separate figures showing a 31% slump in new listings, those on market for fewer than 30 days, compared with November, also indicated a greater reluctance by would-be vendors to list their property, but that data was not clear-cut, Mr. Christopher said. December's national total of 52,763 new listings was also down 22.4% on the 67,972 total of December 21. But that was a record December and reflected the fevered housing market that, buoyed by record low borrowing costs, stayed active over Christmas and New Year, he stated. And here we are, right in the middle of our Ray White South Coast January auction event. 40 properties, one day, January 29, 2023. Want to know more? Get in touch, we've got plenty to see. Looking to make the best use of the current marketplace? If you're either expanding your property portfolio or looking to sell your current property, get in touch today, we'd love to help. I'm Wal Galbraith with the Ray White South Coast Group, and that was your South Coast Snapshot for Week 3, 2023. Be well, talk soon.